The morning light caught the crystal vase just right, sending rainbows dancing across Monica White's kitchen counter. She adjusted the white peonies one more time, Robert's favorite, stepping back to admire her work. After 35 years of marriage and 3 years of widowhood, she still couldn't arrange flowers without hearing his voice. Always 3 stems, never 5. Odd numbers, Mo. That's the secret. At 58, Monica had mastered the art of appearing effortlessly composed. Her platinum blonde hair fell in perfect waves, her skin glowed from years of disciplined skincare, and her yoga-toned figure moved through the Tudor mansion with practiced grace. The house itself was a testament to the life she and Robert had built. Exposed beams, leaded glass windows, and enough square footage to host the charity galas that had defined their social calendar for decades. But lately, the house felt too big, too quiet, too full of memories that had nowhere to go. "Stop it," she muttered to herself, shaking off the melancholy. She had work to do. Haley's wedding was 6 weeks away, and the final details demanded attention. The guest list alone had taken 3 revisions, each one carefully calibrated to reflect both families' social standing while maintaining the intimate elegance Haley claimed to want. Claimed being the operative word. Monica settled into her chair with her iPad and a cup of Earl Grey, reviewing the seating chart for the country club reception. The Weatherbys would sit near the front, of course. Margaret had been Monica's closest friend since the kids were in diapers, and Tom had golfed with Robert every Sunday for 20 years. They'd watched Haley grow from a gap-toothed flower girl into the stunning young woman she was today. Her phone buzzed. Haley's name lit up the screen, accompanied by a photo from last Christmas, all 3 of them bundled in matching scarves, laughing at something Sean had said. Monica smiled and answered, "Good morning, darling. How are the final dress fittings going?" "Mom," Haley's voice came through sharp and impatient, like a knife against glass. "We need to talk about the wedding." Monica set down her teacup with deliberate care. That tone. She knew that tone. "Of course, sweetheart. What can I help you with?" "It's about the guest list. You invited the Weatherbys." "Yes, dear. Margaret and I have been friends for 30 years. I thought, well, uninvite them." The words landed like a slap. Monica blinked at the kitchen window, watching a cardinal land on the bird feeder Robert had built the summer before his heart attack. "I'm sorry, what?" "You heard me. Devin doesn't like them. He thinks they're boring old people, and honestly, I agree. This is supposed to be a young, fun wedding, not some stuffy old person party." Monica felt her carefully maintained composure begin to crack. "Sophia, these are people who watched you grow up. Margaret was at your baptism, your confirmation, your graduation. God, Mom, stop being such a pest about this." The word hung in the air between them, suspended in the cellular silence. Pest. After 8 months of planning, after writing check after check, the $15,000 imported Italian roses, the hand-calligraphed invitations, the designer Vera Wang dress that cost more than most people's cars. After securing the country club on their preferred date through sheer force of reputation and a carefully placed donation. Pest. "It's my wedding, not yours," Haley continued, her voice rising. "Either uninvite them or I will, and I won't be nice about it." Monica closed her eyes. In the darkness behind her eyelids, she saw flashes of memory. 2-year-old Haley refusing to share her toys. 10-year-old Haley throwing a tantrum when she didn't make the lead in the school play. 16-year-old Haley screaming that she hated Monica for setting a curfew. And now, 28-year-old Haley calling her mother a pest for trying to include people who loved her. "Sophia, I think you're being unreasonable. These people love you. You're so annoying. You always do this, trying to control everything. You can't just let me have what I want without making it about you and your stupid old friends." The line went dead. Monica sat perfectly still, the phone pressed to her ear long after the call had ended. Outside, the cardinal took flight, a streak of red against the gray November sky. Somewhere in the house, the grandfather clock chimed 9. The sound echoed through empty rooms that had once been filled with birthday parties and homework sessions and family dinners that ran late into the evening. When had it changed? When had her children stopped seeing her as someone who loved them and started seeing her as an obstacle to overcome? She set the phone down with mechanical precision and walked to Robert's study. His reading chair still smelled faintly of his cologne, even after 3 years. She sank into it, pulling her knees to her chest like a child. "What would you do?" she whispered to the empty room. But she knew. Robert would have said to let it go, to be the bigger person, to remember that weddings made everyone crazy. He'd always been the peacemaker, smoothing over conflicts with his easy charm and infectious laugh. But Robert wasn't here anymore, and Monica was tired of being the bigger person. The second call came exactly 1 hour later. Monica had moved to the garden by then, seeking solace among the roses she and Robert had planted together. The November chill bit through her cashmere sweater, but she welcomed it. It felt more honest than the artificial warmth of the house. Sean's name appeared on her screen. For a moment she considered not answering, but hope, stupid, stubborn hope, made her swipe to accept. "Hey, Mom." His voice had that carefully casual tone he used when he wanted something. "So Haley called me. She's pretty upset." Monica stared at a dying rose, its petals brown at the edges. "Did she tell you she called me a pest? Look, you know how brides get. The stress, the pressure. It makes people say things they don't mean. So I should just accept being disrespected?" "Mom, come on," Sean sighed, the sound of someone dealing with an unreasonable child. "Just apologize and uninvite whoever she wants you to uninvite. Keep the peace. It's not that big a deal." Monica stood up slowly, feeling something cold and sharp crystallizing in her chest. "Let me make sure I understand. I should apologize to her for being called a pest?" "I'm saying you should be the bigger person here. Look, Haley is my sister. She's getting married. Once, hopefully. And I want her to be happy. If that means choosing between keeping peace with her and keeping peace with you." He trailed off, but the implication hung in the air like poison gas. "Go on," Monica said softly. "Finish the sentence, Sean." A pause. Then, "I'd rather lose my mother than lose my sister." The world tilted sideways. Monica gripped the garden bench to steady herself, her knuckles white against the weathered wood. 30 years. 30 years of 2 a.m. feedings and school plays and soccer practices and college application essays. 30 years of putting her interior design career on hold because someone needed to be home when the kids got off the bus. 30 years of choosing them over everything else. Her dreams, her ambitions, sometimes even her marriage. And this was what it amounted to. "I'd rather lose my mother than lose my sister." "Thank you for clarifying that, Sean," she heard herself say. Her voice sounded strange, distant, like it was coming from underwater. "Mom, wait. That's not what I meant." "No, it's exactly what you meant. And you know what? I think that's a wonderful idea. From now on, you can have everything exactly the way you want it, without your pest of a mother interfering." "Mom." She ended the call and stood in her garden, watching the last of the autumn leaves spiral down from the oak trees. A strange calm descended over her. Not peace exactly, more like the eerie stillness before a storm. She thought about Robert, about how he'd worked 70-hour weeks building his real estate empire so their children would never know the poverty he'd grown up with. About how he'd missed Sean's Harvard graduation because he was closing a deal that would fund both kids' trust funds. About how he'd died at his desk, surrounded by contracts and spreadsheets, still working to provide for a family that barely noticed his absence. They'd taken him for granted, too. Monica walked back into the house with purpose now. She poured herself a glass of champagne, the good Dom Perignon she'd been saving for Haley's wedding, and sat down at the kitchen table with her phone. But her hand shook as she pulled up the wedding planner's number. Was she really going to do this? Cancel everything? Destroy Haley's dream wedding over a single word? No, not over a word. Over a pattern. Over years of entitled behavior that she'd enabled by smoothing every obstacle, funding every whim, protecting them from every consequence. She thought about calling Linda Morrison, her closest friend since college. Linda would talk sense into her. Linda would remind her that all families fought, that this was just wedding stress, that she was overreacting. But what if she wasn't overreacting? What if this was the most honest moment she'd had with her children in years? Monica took a long sip of champagne and made the first call. Jennifer, it's Monica White. I need you to cancel everything. The wedding planner's voice went up an octave. I'm sorry, what? The entire wedding? The venue, the flowers, the caterer, the musicians, all of it. Cancel everything. Mrs. White, the wedding is in 6 weeks. We'll lose all the deposits. We're talking about tens of thousands of... I don't care about the deposits. Cancel it all. Monica's voice was steel wrapped in silk. And Jennifer, if my daughter calls you, refer her to me. She made the next call before she could second-guess herself. David, it's Monica. I need you to serve an eviction notice on the Harrison Street property. Her property manager's confusion was audible. The one your son lives in? Yes. 30 days notice, effective immediately. Mrs. White, are you sure? I'm sure. Next, the insurance company. Remove Sean's car from her policy. Then the dealership. The car would be repossessed by end of business. Finally, her financial advisor. Freeze the trust fund distributions. Yes, she was certain. Yes, she understood the implications. Each call felt like shedding weight, like removing layers of obligation that had been crushing her for decades. When she finished, Monica sat in the gathering dusk and waited. The house was silent except for the ticking of the grandfather clock and the whisper of her own breathing. Her phone buzzed with texts. First Haley, then Sean, then both of them in rapid succession. Mom, please call me. What did you do? Call me now. This is insane, Mom, please. She silenced her phone and poured another glass of champagne. But as the bubbles fizzed against her lips, doubt crept in. She thought about Haley's face on Christmas morning, the way she'd hugged Monica and whispered, I love you, Mom. She thought about Sean at his law school graduation, crying as he thanked her in his speech for believing in him when he didn't believe in himself. Those moments were real too, weren't they? Monica picked up her phone and dialed Linda's number. I think I just did something terrible, she said when Linda answered. Or something necessary. I can't tell which. What happened? Monica told her everything. The Pest comment, Sean's choice, the canceled wedding, the eviction notice. Linda was quiet for a long moment. Monica, are you sure about this? Am I being crazy? No, but you're burning bridges pretty fast, and you need to make sure you can live with the ashes. After they hung up, Monica walked upstairs to her bedroom. In the closet, pushed to the back, was a box of Robert's things she hadn't been able to give away. She pulled out one of his old Harvard sweatshirts and held it to her face, breathing in the ghost of his scent. I hope I'm doing the right thing, she whispered. The sweatshirt didn't answer. Nothing did. But somewhere in the hollow of her chest, beneath the hurt and the anger, something that felt almost like hope was beginning to take root. The scream came at 7:23 a.m. Monica was in her yoga studio moving through her sun salutation sequence when Haley's voice shattered the morning quiet. It was a sound Monica had never heard from her daughter before. Pure animal panic. She moved to the window. Below, in the circular driveway, Haley stood in pajama pants and an oversized t-shirt, her blonde hair wild around her shoulders. She was staring at her phone with the expression of someone watching their world collapse in real time. Monica's phone began ringing. She let it go to voicemail. It rang again, and again. On the 4th call, she finally answered, keeping her voice perfectly calm. Good morning, darling. Mom! The word was more scream than greeting. What did you do? I'm sorry, dear. You'll have to be more specific. I've done quite a few things this morning. I made myself a lovely breakfast, did my yoga, watered the orchids. The wedding? What did you do to my wedding? Monica settled into her favorite armchair, tucking her legs beneath her. Oh, that. I canceled it. The silence on the other end was so complete that Monica wondered if the call had dropped. Then came a sound she'd never heard from Haley, a low, keening wail that seemed to come from somewhere deep and primal. You canceled my entire wedding? Every last detail. The venue, the flowers, the food, the music, even the photographer. I called everyone yesterday evening. Quite efficient, really. I'm rather proud of how organized I was about it. But the deposits, the contracts, all forfeit, I'm afraid. Turns out wedding vendors don't appreciate last-minute cancellations. Who knew? Monica took a sip of her tea. Though I suppose we both knew that when you decided to call me a pest. I didn't mean, I was just stressed. Of course you didn't mean it. Just like Sean didn't mean it when he said he'd rather lose his mother than his sister. But see, darling, here's what I've learned. Sometimes the cruelest truths slip out when we're stressed. They're the thoughts we're usually too polite to say out loud. She could hear Haley hyperventilating through the phone. Devin is going to kill me. His parents are going to think I'm completely irresponsible. Aren't you? The question stopped Haley mid-sentence. What? Aren't you irresponsible? You're 28 years old, Sophia. You work part-time at a boutique that barely covers your shopping habits. You live in an apartment I pay for, drive a car I bought, and just yesterday you were planning a $65,000 wedding funded entirely by money you never earned. So tell me, dear, what exactly about that situation suggests responsibility? That's not... And now you'll have the opportunity to prove just how responsible you can be. I'm sure Devin will understand when you explain that you'll need to postpone the wedding until you can afford to pay for it yourselves. We can't afford a wedding like that. It would take years. Then I suppose you'll have a long engagement. How romantic. Through the window, Monica watched Haley sink to the ground in the driveway, her head in her hands. For just a moment, Monica felt something twist in her chest. That was her baby down there. Her little girl who used to crawl into bed during thunderstorms and whisper, "Mommy, make it stop." But that little girl had grown into a woman who called her mother a pest. "Mom, please. I'm sorry I called you a pest. I was wrong, but you can't punish me like this over one word." "One word?" Monica's voice hardened. "Oh, sweetheart, this isn't about one word. This is about a pattern. A pattern of entitlement, disrespect, and taking for granted everything I've given you. Yesterday was just the final straw." Her other line beeped. Sean's name flashed on the screen. "Oh, look at that," Monica said. "Your brother is calling. I should probably take this. He might have some interesting news to share." "Mom, don't hang up. Goodbye, Sophia. I hope you have a lovely day figuring out how to be responsible." She switched lines. "Hello, Sean. What the hell is wrong with you?" His voice was pure fury, none of the Harvard lawyer polish he usually maintained. "Good morning to you too, dear. I trust you slept well in your lovely home." "You know damn well I didn't, since I got an eviction notice slipped under my door at 6 a.m. 30 days to vacate. Are you out of your mind?" "Not at all. I'm clearer-headed than I've been in years." "This is insane. Mom, you can't just throw me out of my house because you're mad about some stupid family argument." Monica laughed, and the sound surprised even her with its coldness. "Your house? Darling, it's my house. My name on the deed. My money that purchased it. My generosity that allowed you to live there rent-free for the past 3 years. I've been taking care of it. I've been maintaining the property value. How noble of you. I'm sure the new tenants will appreciate all your hard work. I've already had David list it for rent at market rate. Turns out I can get $3,200 a month for it. Who knew?" $3,200? Mom, I can't afford that kind of rent on my salary. Then I suppose you'll need to find somewhere more within your budget. Have you considered roommates? I hear that's quite common for people your age. Through the window, she saw Sean's BMW pull into the driveway, screeching to a stop beside where Haley still sat on the ground. He got out, still in his wrinkled suit from yesterday, his phone pressed to his ear. "I'm at your door," he said. "Let me in. We're going to settle this right now." "I don't think so." Monica watched him stride up to the door and try the handle. When it didn't budge, he began pounding on the mahogany. "Mom, open this door." "No." "I'm not leaving until you fix this." "Then you'll be there for quite a long time. I suggest you call an Uber." She paused. "Oh, wait. Your car won't start, will it?" "What did you—" "Mom, my car won't— I had it repossessed this morning. Turns out when you stop paying the insurance and inform the dealership that the registered user is no longer authorized to possess the vehicle, they're quite efficient about collection." The pounding stopped. Through the window, she watched Sean sink down onto the front steps, his head in his hands. Haley had gotten up and now stood beside him, both of them looking lost and small in the shadow of the house where they'd grown up. For a moment, just a moment, Monica felt her resolve waver. These were her children, the babies she'd nursed and rocked and loved with every fiber of her being. But they were also adults who had chosen their sister over their mother, who had called her a pest and told her they'd rather lose her than show basic respect. "You have 30 days to find somewhere else to live," she said, loud enough for him to hear through the door. "I suggest you use them wisely." "Mom, please." She hung up and walked away from the door, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. In the kitchen, she poured herself another glass of champagne, even though it was barely 8 in the morning. Through the window, she watched Sean and Haley huddle together in the driveway, both of them on their phones, probably calling everyone they knew to complain about their crazy mother. Let them call. Let them tell everyone how unreasonable she was being. Let them learn what life looked like when you had to build it yourself instead of having it handed to you on a silver platter. Monica raised her glass to the morning sun and whispered the words that would define everything that came next. So be it. 3 days of silence felt like 3 years. Monica wandered through her empty mansion, trying to convince herself she'd done the right thing. At 3 a.m., she found herself outside Sean's old bedroom, hand on the doorknob, wondering what kind of mother she was becoming. Thursday morning, she made her first call. Patricia Hamilton answered on the second ring. "Monica, darling, I've been meaning to call about the wedding. Actually, Patricia, that's why I'm calling. I wanted you to hear this from me before the gossip starts." Monica injected careful concern into her voice. "Haley has postponed the wedding. She's been having some difficulties." Difficulties? Impulsive behavior, financial irresponsibility, emotional outbursts. Every word technically true, just framed to raise alarm. Yesterday, she had quite a scene in my driveway when I suggested she contribute to her own wedding costs. I'm concerned she's not ready for marriage. Oh my, Devin hasn't mentioned anything. He's trying to protect her. But I thought you should know, given your family's involvement. After hanging up, Monica stared at her phone, feeling simultaneously powerful and sick. She'd just planted seeds that would spread like wildfire through their social circle. The next call was to Amanda Pierce, who sat on the charity board where Haley volunteered. Then Harrison Burke at Sean's law firm, where she expressed concern about Sean's financial stress and judgment. By noon, she'd made 6 calls. 6 carefully worded conversations that would reshape her children's reputations without saying anything technically untrue. That afternoon, she sat in Dr. Sarah's office, trying to explain what she'd done. "Talk to me about the phone calls," Dr. Sarah said. "I'm controlling the narrative, making sure they understand that actions have social consequences. Or you're weaponizing your social power." The words hit like a slap. Monica felt tears prick her eyes. "Am I being abusive?" "I think you're being human, hurt and angry and acting from that pain. But Monica, there's a difference between setting boundaries and seeking revenge. Which one are you doing?" "I don't know anymore." That evening, Haley called. "Mom, something weird is happening." Her voice was frightened, young. "Devin's mother asked if I'm having a breakdown. Monica at the boutique is watching me like I'm unstable. What did you say to people?" "I told them you're learning independence. Growing up is hard." "The way you're saying it makes me sound like I'm falling apart." "Are you?" Long silence, then, "I need to see you, face to face. I'm busy for the next several days." "Mom, please." "Take care of yourself, dear." After hanging up, Monica immediately called Margaret Weatherby. "Margaret, I'm even more concerned now. Haley's becoming paranoid, accusing me of spreading rumors. The stress is really affecting her mental state." She walked out to the garden afterward, sat on Robert's bench, and let herself feel the full weight of what she was doing. Her phone buzzed. "Linda, how are you holding up?" Monica stared at the message for a long time before typing. "I'm not sure anymore." 3 weeks later, Monica stood before her mirror in a midnight blue gown, adjusting diamond earrings with shaking hands. Tonight was the gala, her masterpiece. Linda appeared in the doorway. "Last chance to back out." "I'm not backing out." Monica, what you're planning tonight. Once you do this, there's no taking it back. They publicly disrespected me. Why should I protect them? Because you're the mother. Linda's voice was gentle but firm. Because you're supposed to be the bigger person. I'm tired of being the bigger person. Monica spun around, tears threatening her makeup. Don't I deserve better? Linda pulled her into a careful hug. You do, but revenge dressed up as charity is still revenge. Then maybe revenge is what I need. The Grand View Hotel ballroom was perfect. The same venue where Haley's reception should have been. Imported flowers, string quartet, champagne flowing freely. Monica moved through the crowd like royalty, accepting compliments with practiced grace. Patricia Hamilton approached an expensive perfume. Monica, you've outdone yourself. And handling your family situation with such grace, too. Monica smiled, though it felt like broken glass. It's important to support families in crisis. At 8 o'clock, Haley and Sean entered. They looked uncomfortable despite formal attire. Haley in an old black dress, Sean in an ill-fitting rental tux. They scanned the glittering room like outsiders, and Monica felt a sharp pain in her chest. My babies. What have I done? But she pushed the feeling down and approached them. Darlings, you came. I'm so pleased. For the next hour, Monica orchestrated careful torture, introducing them to everyone important, each time with subtle comments highlighting their struggles, while framing herself as the concerned mother. She watched them wilt under polite concern and veiled pity, and felt sicker with each introduction. At 9:30, she took the stage. The room fell silent. Good evening. Thank you for supporting this important cause. She paused. Family values are our foundation, but sometimes those values become corrupted by entitlement, by taking loved ones for granted. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Monica felt the power of the moment. Then she looked at Haley's face. Not angry, devastated, broken. Sean beside her, crying as he tried to comfort his sister. For the first time, Monica saw them clearly, not as entitled adults needing lessons, but as her children, hurting. Tonight we're raising money to help families communicate, Monica continued, voice wavering. I want to thank my own children for teaching me these lessons. Through their journey toward independence, they've shown me the importance of letting young adults discover their own capabilities. The room was completely silent, everyone aware they were witnessing public family drama. They've been brave in building lives without family support. Her voice caught. I'm proud of their courage. She saw Haley begin crying, not angry sobs, but quiet, defeated tears. Something inside Monica cracked. They've taught me that sometimes love means stepping back. But she paused, suddenly off script. But stepping back doesn't mean stepping away. It means trusting your foundation is strong enough to support them when they're ready to lean on it again. Monica raised her champagne glass, hand shaking. To family values, to growth, and to loving each other through hard times. The applause was uncomfortable. People weren't sure if they'd witnessed something touching or terrible. As Monica left the stage, she saw Haley flee the ballroom, Sean following. Someone's phone captured it all, including Monica's devastated expression as she watched them leave. The next morning, Monica sat at her kitchen table in her evening gown, watching sunrise paint the room gold and pink. Her phone showed the viral video, Haley's exit, but also Monica's face afterward, raw with pain. The comments were divided. Finally, a parent with boundaries. This is emotional abuse. Both look heartbroken, so sad, Linda called. I saw the video. How are you? I don't know. Monica's voice was hoarse. Linda, what have I done? You made your point. Very publicly. I humiliated them. That wasn't boundaries. That was cruelty. So what are you going to do? I need to think. 2 weeks passed in fog. Therapy twice. Long beach walks. Trying to figure out who she'd become. Then Detective Martinez called. Mrs. White, I'm calling about your son. He's been arrested for credit card fraud. Monica's heart stopped. What? He's been using stolen card information. Says he was desperate after you cut him off. Bail is $50,000. She drove to the police station in a daze. This is my fault. I did this. Sean emerged looking haggard, humiliated. They drove home in silence. In her driveway, where it all started, Sean spoke. Thank you for bail. You're welcome. I suppose you'll lecture me about consequences. Monica stared at her hands on the wheel. No, I'm not lecturing you, because this is my fault. Sean turned to stare. What? I pushed too hard, took everything, offered nothing. I wanted to teach you, and instead Her voice broke. I created a crisis. I'm so sorry, Sean. You're apologizing? Monica faced her son, really seeing him. I should have handled this differently. Should have taught these lessons years ago, with love and patience. Not by destroying your life overnight. But I committed fraud. That's not on you, isn't it? I left you believing you had no options. I did that on purpose. She took his hand. I was hurt when you said you'd rather lose me than Haley. And I wanted you to hurt the same way. That's not teaching. That's revenge. They sat crying, holding hands. What now? Sean asked. Now you face real consequences. You'll need court, probably a plea deal, maybe jail time. Will you help? Hire a lawyer? Monica was quiet. I'll be here, visit you, support you emotionally. But I won't fix this. You need to know you can fix it yourself, not as punishment, because you need to know you're capable. I'm scared. Good. Fear means you understand what you've done. That night, Monica called Haley. What do you want? To apologize. For the gala, the social campaign, all of it. Silence. Why now? Because I realized I went too far. It became about making you hurt the way I hurt. That's not love. That's cruelty. You destroyed my life, Mom. I know. I'm sorry. But Haley, you also need to understand why I reacted this way. Because I called you a pest? Because you treated my love like an obligation. Never once said thank you for 30 years of sacrifice. Haley was crying. I know. I was horrible, entitled, selfish. But did I deserve public humiliation? Monica closed her eyes, tears streaming. No, you didn't. And I'm sorry. What happens now? I don't know, but I'd like to figure it out together, if you're willing. Long pause. I got fired yesterday. Devin broke up with me. I'm in a terrible apartment working minimum wage. I don't know how to fix this. I don't either, but maybe we can learn together. After hanging up, Monica sat in darkness, feeling the weight of everything she'd done. She'd set out to teach respect. Instead, she'd learned a harder lesson. Love without wisdom is as dangerous as love without boundaries. The question was whether any of them could find their way back from the wreckage. 6 weeks after Sean's arrest, Monica did something she hadn't done in months. She drove to Haley's workplace, unannounced. The discount clothing store was in a strip mall 40 minutes from Monica's neighborhood, the kind of place she'd never had reason to visit before. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Racks of $15 dresses crowded the narrow aisles. And there, behind the register, was her daughter. Haley looked different. Thinner, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, wearing a polyester uniform vest. She was helping an elderly woman return a blouse, her voice patient and kind. I'm so sorry for the confusion, ma'am. Let me get my manager to override this. It'll just take a moment. Monica watched from behind a rack of clearance items, seeing something she'd never seen before. Haley being genuinely helpful without expectation of recognition or reward. Just doing her job with quiet competence. When the customer left satisfied, Monica approached the register. Haley froze. What are you doing here? I came to see you. To actually see you. Well, congratulations. Haley's voice was bitter. You're seeing me fold $15 dresses for $12 an hour. I see you handling difficult customers with grace, being professional, being kind. Haley's eyes filled with tears. Is this enough? Am I humble enough yet for you? This isn't about being humble enough. Then what is it about? Because I've lost everything, Mom. My job, my fiancé, my apartment, my friends. I work double shifts and can barely afford groceries. So tell me, what more do you want from me? Monica felt something break inside her chest. I want to say I'm sorry. The words hung in the air. Haley stared at her, disbelieving. What? I'm sorry. I took it too far. The public humiliation, the social campaign. I was hurt, and I wanted you to hurt too. That wasn't teaching. That was cruelty. Haley started crying in earnest now. It worked. I hurt every single day. I know, and I'm sorry. Monica reached across the counter, but Haley pulled back. But I'm also not sorry for making you face reality. You needed these lessons. I just shouldn't have taught them so harshly. So which is it? Are you sorry or not? Both. I should have handled it differently. But you needed to learn that respect is earned, that love isn't an obligation, that people have limits. A manager appeared from the back room. Haley, you okay? Yeah, Sarah, this is my mother. Sarah looked between them, clearly having heard stories. Take your break if you need it. They walked outside into the October afternoon. Haley lit a cigarette. When had she started smoking? And leaned against the building. I was horrible to you, Haley said finally. Entitled and cruel. I took everything for granted and never said thank you. Not once. No, you didn't. But you broke something in me, Mom. At that gala, in front of everyone. I felt like I wanted to disappear. Like I was nothing. Monica closed her eyes against the pain. I know, and I can't take that back. But Haley, you're not nothing. You're becoming someone real. Someone who earns what she has. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, but maybe it's supposed to make you feel something other than entitled. They stood in silence, traffic rushing past on the highway. Devin called last week, Haley said quietly. Wants to get back together. Monica's heart clenched. What did you say? I said no. Why? Because I finally figured out he only wanted me when I was convenient, when I made him look good. Haley took a long drag, and because I don't want to be the person he fell in love with. She was terrible. Monica felt tears on her cheeks. She wasn't terrible, she was lost. She called you a pest, and I destroyed her life for it. Monica wiped her eyes. Neither of us was right, Haley. We both need to learn how to be better. The county jail smelled like industrial cleaner and despair. Monica sat in the visiting room, waiting for Sean to appear. She'd been coming every week for a month, keeping her promise. When he emerged in orange scrubs, he looked different, too. Harder, but also somehow more present, more real than he'd ever been in his expensive suits. How are you? Monica asked. Better than I expected. Worse than I hoped. He managed a small smile. My cellmate is teaching me to play chess. I'm terrible at it. Your father loved chess. I know. I wish I'd learned from him instead of from a guy in for embezzlement. Sean's expression darkened. Mom, I need to tell you something. The DA offered a plea deal. 6 months in county, 2 years probation. Monica's throat tightened. And? I'm taking it. My public defender says it's the best I'll get, and honestly, Mom, I think I need it. The time, I mean, to figure out who I am when I can't rely on money or connections or the White family name. That's very mature. There's a guy here, older guy named Marcus. He's in for the same thing, trying to maintain a lifestyle he couldn't afford anymore. He told me something that stuck. Sean leaned forward. He said the real prison isn't the bars. It's the lies we tell ourselves about who we deserve to be. Monica felt something shift in her chest. Your father would be proud of you right now. Would he? I'm sitting in jail because I was too proud to get a regular job. But you're taking responsibility. That's more than pride. That's courage. They talked for the rest of visiting hours about his plans for after release. He wanted to work in legal aid, helping people who couldn't afford representation. People like him, people who'd made mistakes and needed a second chance. As Monica drove home, she thought about Dr. Sarah's question. Are you teaching or punishing? Maybe finally she was doing neither. Maybe she was just being present while her children learned to teach themselves. 2 weeks later, Linda came over with takeout and wine. "How are you really?" Linda asked, settling onto Monica's couch. Confused, guilty, hopeful. Take your pick. That's called being human. Monica poured wine into 2 glasses. "I've been thinking about selling the house." Linda nearly dropped her glass. "What? Why?" "Because I'm rattling around in here like a ghost. Because every room reminds me of who we used to be, or who I thought we were. Because I need to move forward too." "Where would you go?" "I don't know yet. Somewhere smaller. Near the ocean, maybe. Somewhere that's mine, not ours." Linda studied her friend carefully. "This is really happening, isn't it? You're all actually changing." "We have to. The old way was killing us." That weekend, Monica called a realtor. Within 2 weeks, she had an offer on the house, a young couple with a baby on the way, their faces full of hope and dreams. "We want to fill it with family," the wife said during the walkthrough. "Make it a home full of love." Monica smiled, though it hurt. "I hope you do. I hope you're wiser parents than I was." She used part of the proceeds to buy a small coastal condo 2 hours away. 2 bedrooms, a balcony overlooking the Pacific, room enough for visitors, but not for the past. When she told Haley and Sean about the sale, their reactions surprised her. "You're selling the house?" Haley's voice was small over the phone. "But that's our home." "No, sweetheart. That was a house where we performed being a family. We need to learn to actually be one somewhere new." Thanksgiving arrived cold and clear. Monica stood on her new balcony, watching waves crash against rocks below, second-guessing everything. She'd invited both children for dinner, first time together in 8 months. Sean had been released 2 weeks prior. Haley had been promoted to assistant manager. They were all different people now. What if it wasn't enough? The doorbell rang at 3 o'clock. Monica took a deep breath and opened the door. Haley stood there with a bottle of cheap wine and a nervous smile. "I know it's not the expensive stuff you like, but it's what I could afford." "It's perfect." Monica pulled her into a hug. Haley stiffened for a moment, then melted into it, crying. Sean arrived 20 minutes later in jeans and a sweater, carrying flowers from the grocery store. "I couldn't decide what to bring, so I figured you can never go wrong with flowers." "They're beautiful." Monica arranged them in a vase, remembering the white peonies from that morning months ago. So much had changed. Dinner was awkward at first. Small talk about Monica's new condo, the view, the weather. But as they sat down to eat, Haley broke the tension. "So, I got promoted." "That's wonderful," Monica said. "It's assistant manager at a discount clothing store, Mom. It's not exactly impressive." "It's something you earned. That makes it impressive." Sean cleared his throat. "I got a job, too, at the legal aid clinic downtown, helping people who can't afford lawyers navigate the system." "How does it feel?" "Like I'm finally using my degree for something that matters instead of just making rich people richer." He paused. "The pay is terrible, but the work, it means something." Monica felt tears prick her eyes. "I'm so proud of both of you." "Are you?" Haley asked. "Really? Or are you just relieved we're not total disasters?" "I'm proud that you're building real lives. Not the lives I imagined for you, but lives with meaning and purpose that you created yourselves." They ate in silence for a moment. Then Sean spoke. "Mom, I need to say something. What I said about rather losing you than Haley. I've thought about it every day for 8 months. And I need you to know it was the worst thing I've ever said. You didn't deserve that." "No, I didn't. I was a coward, trying to keep peace by throwing you under the bus." Haley set down her fork. "And I called you a pest for trying to include people who loved me in my wedding, a wedding you were paying for. I was spoiled and cruel, and I took you for granted." Monica looked at both her children, seeing them clearly for the first time in years. Not as extensions of herself or reflections of her success, but as separate people struggling to figure out who they were. "And I weaponized my social power to destroy your reputations because I was hurt. I humiliated you publicly because I wanted revenge." She took a shaky breath. "We all made mistakes. Terrible ones. The question is, can we forgive each other? I forgive you, Haley said immediately. Me too, Sean added. But Mom, do you forgive us? Monica stood and walked to the window, looking out at the endless ocean. When she turned back, her face was wet with tears. I forgave you the moment I realized I'd gone too far, but forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. We all have to live with what we did. So what happens now? Haley asked. Do we just start over? We don't start over. We move forward. Together, but different. Monica returned to the table. I don't rescue you anymore. You don't take me for granted. We show up for each other because we want to, not because we have to. That sounds scary, Sean admitted. It sounds real, Monica corrected. After dinner, they stood on the balcony together, watching the sunset paint the sky in impossible colors. You know what's weird? Haley said. I'm happier now than I was before, when I had everything. Even working minimum wage? Sean asked. Especially working minimum wage, because everything means something now. Every dollar I earn, every promotion, it's mine. I did that. Sean nodded. Same. Jail was hell, but it taught me I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive hard things. Monica put an arm around each of them. That's the difference between inheriting a life and building one. They stood together in comfortable silence, 3 people who'd broken each other and somehow found a way to heal. Thank you, Sean said suddenly. For what? For loving us enough to let us fall, and for being here to help us stand back up. The Sunday dinner had become tradition. Every week, Haley and Sean drove to Monica's condo for homemade food and conversation that was real, not performative. Haley was regional manager now, overseeing 3 stores. She'd started dating Sarah, her former manager. Sean worked at the legal aid clinic, helping people navigate the same system that had once humbled him. Monica had started painting, watercolors of the ocean, and volunteering at a women's shelter. For the first time since Robert's death, she felt like herself. They gathered on the balcony after dinner, watching the sun disappear into the Pacific. I saw Devin last week, Haley mentioned casually, at the grocery store. How was that? Monica asked. Fine. We said hello, made small talk, and I felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just nothing. That's called closure, Sean said. Or it's called becoming someone who doesn't need validation from people who didn't value her, Monica added. Haley smiled. I like that better. Sean raised his beer. To becoming people we actually like. To earning respect, Haley added. To learning the difference between love and enablement, Monica finished. They clinked glasses as the last light faded, 3 people rebuilt from ashes, finally understanding that the hardest lessons are sometimes the most necessary. And that family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, broken and honest, and loving each other anyway.